Hey, you know who it is. You know who it is.
So this is a baffling story. Over the weekend, I saw that something like Fauci or something about Fauci was trending on Twitter. So I'm like, all right, let me look at this. Joe Rogan retweeted a thing from The Hill, and I'll read you the headline. Bipartisan legislators demand answers from Fauci on, quote, cruel puppy experiments. This story doesn't appear to be new. This is from Fox News from a couple months ago. By the way, look at this Fauci picture, man. That guy looks like a real loose cannon. Looks like he's about to do this.
If Dr. Anthony Fauci thought Rand Paul was mad at him, wait until the animal activists see this. A new report shows that under Fauci's direction, the National Institute of Allergies and Infectious Disease funded painful and deadly experiments on dogs to the tune of more than $400,000. Here to react, Lara Logan, host of Lara Logan Has No Agenda on Fox Nation, and Justin Goodman of the White Coat Way.
This woman's show on whatever that thing is called Lara Logan Has No Agenda. Lara Logan Has No Agenda. There was a show on Comedy Central like a decade ago called John Benjamin Has a Van. The difference is that was a joke. That title was supposed to be funny.
Lara, I love dogs. I assume you do as well. I'm trying to contain myself on this story. This is just really infuriating. How can something like this happen at taxpayer expense, nonetheless?
Well, actually, I'm sitting here with my little dog on my lap. She's on my lap for every live shot. She never leaves me alone. She usually, keeps her head down. So this is Honey, if you want to see her. And it's certainly, Dr. Fauci is increasingly becoming Dr. Evil, right? Because over and over again, the decisions that he has made that have just destroyed millions of lives all over the world is becoming more apparent by day. But we don't know so much about what he's doing. We don't know what he's doing, what they're doing at the NIH with animals. We don't know what research they're funding into gain of function, which is, let's be honest about it, right? It's bioweapons research. That's what they're really doing, is creating bioweapons.
To summarize this segment, is this guy, Dr. Fauci, kills dogs because, look, he's a pervert. He gets a pervert thrill out of killing dogs. And don't you like dogs? Look, I have one here. Hope he doesn't kill this one. This is a legit news site. Look at how cute this dog is. That guy wants to kill dogs.
This is Honey, if you want to see her. That just happened. We didn't plan that, I'll be honest.
But this group that kind of got this thing started, this story started, is called the White Coast, what is this? White Coat Waste Foundation? What is it? The White Coat Waste Project. This is truly one of the weirdest groups I've ever seen. It was started by a Republican strategist, so it's like a very right-wing libertarian organization, but they are really into stopping animal cruelty, which is great. But they frame it in this weird, right-wing libertarian Republican way. The vast majority of wasteful and cruel animal experimentation is paid for with taxpayers' money. So it's more of like we got to lower these taxes because they're using it to hurt animals. That's the weirdest argument I've heard. They're doing this to animals. With all that. Okay, last bit, just so you can know where this is coming from. This is the guy who started this White Coat Waste Project. What is it called? What is this crap called? White Coat Waste. White Coat Waste Project. Where this story is coming from, okay? This is a guy who started this thing. He's a Republican strategist, campaigned to defund Planned Parenthood, campaigned to repeal the Affordable Care Act, campaigned for pro-life, anti-abortion groups, campaigned to overturn legalized gay marriage in California. Okay, so you kind of see the organization this thing is coming from. This guy, he started and runs this organization, and it looks like how the story works is almost like a Republican cliche where he worked in like a testing facility where they were testing on animals, and he was like, now this is bad. I'm going to work this into my Republican weird cretin politics. Okay, so before we get too deep into this, what is this story about? So Joseph Rogan, show him the respect he deserves. Joseph. Rogan. Joseph Rogan retweets this story from The Hill. And it's basically saying, what the story is basically saying, and what this white coat whatever group is saying is, look at this guy Fauci. Look at this crap that this guy's up to. He's funding his organization. He looked at this and he said, this is going to hurt dogs? Yep, do it. Oh, it's going to kill dogs? Definitely do it. So they're testing vaccines. This one, I believe, is for what I found is this one's for something called lymphatic filariasis. I'm definitely saying that wrong. But it's basically, it's a disease you could get from these microscopic worms. And it can cause serious problems. And they're testing on and then euthanizing beagles. So this is truly one of the, truly baffling, because what you have here is a story that's decades old, really. Animal testing, horrible the amount of animal testing. And I would direct you toward a little organization goes by PETA, not like the Hamas, PETA, has been talking about this forever. In fact, even literally about beagles. This is from 2014, from like an animal activist group on YouTube. Here we go.
Beagles are used in medical research to test the safety of new medicines. The beagles are kept together in pairs or small groups in pens. They are let out of their pens for regular exercise.
I'm doing a great job making a comedy channel here. Really funny. By the way, beagles. Part of the reason that they test on beagles is because beagles are very friendly. Oh my god. Oh my god. These poor little rats. Just want to have fun and chew on the dirtiest tennis ball they could find. Maybe get a Kong, one of those Kongs, and lick treats out of it or whatever. I don't know what they do. Groups like PETA and all this, and I totally agree with this, that this animal testing is horrible. The problem with this story, with Joey Rogan and Candace Owens, is that, first of all, they're like just finding out about this, and it has to be tied to this guy, Tony Fauci. Like, that's the problem. Like, these guys had no interest in like animal rights or animal testing until Dr. Fauci's name was tied to it. And of course, another problem with this little angle is like Fauci did this. First of all, like, the president creates the budget for the NIH. So then you would have to say, well, Trump did this, and then Biden did this, and then Congress did this, and then the giant group of people who decide where to put the funding in the NIH did this, but Fauci actually did this. These beautiful patriots, they hate Dr. Fauci because he tells them to wear a mask, and he says you have to get the vaccine. So he's a bad guy. Everything he does, the right-wing media has to, they have to continue to barf up content proving that, oh, you're right. You guys are right. He is a really bad guy. Look, he kills dogs. He personally kills dogs. And at the same time, like, is Dr. Fauci like he's like a great guy or something? Like, no, he's Dr. Fauci, the way, from what I understand, what I know about Dr. Fauci, is he's just like sort of like a grade grubber. Like, that's how I picture him. He's just a guy who's like, I'm not really interested in like fixing the system. I just want to be at the top of it. He has said things about like, oh, universal health care is better, but he's not really like a guy who's out there trying to change stuff. He's just sort of like, I'm just happy to be in the main guy. By the way, PETA has put, they have released like alternatives to this kind of testing, alternatives to animal testing. They have like a whole report of it. In vitro testing, computer modeling, research with human volunteers, human patient simulator, blah, 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 blah. So there's at least like a way we could get out of this. Like, there are alternatives we could start moving toward. The problem, though, also, isn't Joe Rogan one of these guys who's like,
being vegan is for wieners. Being vegan is for wieners.
Isn't Joe Rogan one of these like, being a vegan is for wieners guys? That's not masculine. That's like Joe Rogan's thing. Because you have a hard time being like suddenly an animal activist when you're just like, yeah, like, I like shooting bow and arrows. Like, an animal's just like down to get a drink. I like shooting a bow and arrow at them for sport. Okay, Joe. But you're really concerned about the beagles for some reason. there's some little capoeira, or whatever those animals are. He's like, he's like drinking a little water. Then he gets a Joe Rogan arrow right through the eyeball or whatever. Maybe
being vegan is for wieners.
So just to sort of summarize this amazing story so far, just to summarize this, a bunch of people are like, Dr. Fauci kills dogs. And you look into this a little bit. It's like, actually, like, they've been testing on beagles for like at least a decade. And PETA has been, shouting at you guys about this for a long time, at least a decade on this one. But coincidentally, they're attaching a guy's name to it who all right-wingers hate. The guy who you hate because you get really upset and you foam yourself when he tells you have to wear a mask into the frozen yogurt place, which is just, for the American boomer, that is just too much of a sacrifice to make, It's, I would say, all those people who died during World War II and all that stuff, they just don't understand how scary it is to have to go into, I'm going to try not to cry saying this, but having to go into the Old Navy. Having to go into the Old Navy with a mask on. So then, the best thing about this, the real
party.
It doesn't make any sense. Everybody is saying this about this.
I'm calling bluff.
About those dogs. Man, I'm thinking about I'm going to do a congressional run, because being a member of Congress really is like a no-show job. It's like you're in the mafia in New Jersey. They made a show about it, where there's these no-show jobs, like on a construction site. You just go kind of hang out. You get in an argument with Vito or whatever. And that's what Congress seems like. So this is what this lady, Nancy Mace. Am I saying that right? Maybe it's Nancy Mace. She's a Tea Party Republican in South Carolina. She hits every goofy Republican talking point. She literally, there's a video of her where she's like, Antifa came in my house.
Under the anti-government category or subcategory of domestic terrorism, would that include groups like Antifa or Black Lives Matter? The first, an article from the Post and Courier detailing vandalism committed at my home by anarchists and Antifa-related individuals, allegedly based on the symbolism and the comments made on my home at the time.
Every critical race theory, every kind of goofy culture war thing, she's like jumping right on it. So this is from yesterday. Yesterday, I sent a letter to this is Representative Nancy Mace. This is a person who's kind of making this. This is, again, a no-show job. Oh, it's a little issue that they're worried about. They think Fauci's personally killing dogs. Hell yeah. This will kill a couple weeks, me pretending to work. Yesterday, I sent a letter to Dr. Fauci regarding cruel taxpayer-funded experiments on puppies. And this tells you, it's not totally bipartisan. This is partisan. It's not totally bipartisan. It's mostly Republicans doing this, but a lot of Democrats doing this, too, which shows you just what's going on in Congress. Not a lot. Oh, by the way, here it is. It actually is still trending. We've gone from fire Fauci to arrest Fauci. Okay, so anyway, back to this really doing the great work of making our society better, more livable. This is part of a grand vision of the future. So all these goofballs signed this. Wow, you wrote that? Wait, you wrote that letter? No way! Wow, I can't wait to see where this goes. I can't wait to see little Dr. Fauci. 80-year-old Dr. Fauci, he's definitely going to get taken out in handcuffs. They're going to do that. They're going to be like, he'll be like, you're not taking me alive. And then they go, yeah, right, Fauci. And he does a dramatic death scene.
I'm ready to sell my mother into slavery.
And what's the final thing Dr. Fauci says before he dies? He says,
that is my own sperm.
So I'm going to write a video letter, right? I call these video letters, these uploads, video letters, okay? The 720p webcam that I use, I call my quill. And I'd like to, this letter goes out to Nancy Mace and all the Democrats and Republicans who wrote this. Where were you guys 20, 30 years ago when PETA was talking about this? If you guys are bored, maybe you can work on that infrastructure thing. Something that would actually maybe be useful. to the country? Oh, no, you voted against that. Oh, okay. Look at all the ads she got. Man, this is... It's a lot. That's a lot. That's a big waste of time right there. Actually, somebody did tweet this at them, and it got a lot of likes, actually. This is so much more important than the infrastructure bill you won't vote for. Thank you. Very good.
Oh my God, dude.
A lot of people in her comments are like, it's either, hey, you're just trying to do a distraction, or, yeah, it's like animal activists who are like, yeah, interesting that you're paying attention to this now. This happens all over the world and has been happening all over the world for decades. I mean, testing on especially beagles, like the cutest possible dog. What's like a stupid dog? Like Shiba Inus, maybe? Like those dogs that kind of annoy me. I'm like, okay, nah, guys, I'm just kidding. So that's our stance here at the channel, is if the dog is kind of annoying, test away. Do with them what you will, we say. If the dog is cute, like a beagle, no test. Okay? That's where we draw the line. Cuteness. And I think we should set up a panel of government bureaucrats to judge the cuteness. They'll hold up signs. They'll be like, that one's a 10 of cuteness. Like Wishbone, he's a solid 10.
Miss, wake up, please. Come on, everything's gonna be okay.
That dog Nikki from TikTok, maybe a 4. Nikki might not make it. Nikki might not make it. We might have to do tests on Nikki. But animal testing is horrible. I mean, just to keep it real, it's a really, really horrible. And even this story, I mean, testing on these poor little beagles, horrible. It is horrible. I mean, if you're using dogs this way, normally you don't give a rip. These same people probably make fun of PETA. These trans Antifa over at PETA don't want us to have the burgers we like. They say we can't have beagle burgers anymore. These stains over at PETA. But now suddenly if Fauci is attached to it, dogs have rights. Dogs have human rights. We should just start putting out stories tying things that right-wingers don't like to Dr. Fauci. A story like, Dr. Fauci says trans people shouldn't be able to play sports. They'll be like, Dr. Fauci, you piece of sexist, racist turd, you little Dr. Fauci says Medicare for all is a horrible piece of shit. Dr. Fauci, I'm going to write my congressperson right now. I want Medicare for all and a Green New Deal because Dr. Fauci hates it. So then we got a publicity hater. I would call her a publicity hater. She hates, she just wants to do her work and not have attention on her. You know what I mean? Investigative reporter Candace Owens says, wait until they find out about the human experiments. So I guess she's talking about the lab leak stuff. I was looking down at her responses, and one of them is, girl, tell me, because I need to look this stuff up. I can't find much when I try searching. Government's really good at hiding things. Girl, what exactly are you talking about? I want to know. But the other thing that the other criminal acts of Fauci is the lab leak thing, which really, I made a bunch of videos where I was like, look, let's look into this. Let's find all the information we can. And my thing was like, yeah, there's nothing really here yet. I think they should investigate it. Who knows? Maybe there's something happened. Maybe there's some weird cover-up and all this crap. Not enough evidence for that right now. Most virologists think it came from an animal and went to a human. The virus itself doesn't give any indications that it was created in a lab, according to a virologist across the world who wrote a big paper about it. But there are these people who are really into it. Glenn Greenwald is really into this stuff too. He's really into like anti-Dr. Fauci thing. I don't know what's going on with Glenn. Glenn's a strange guy. I have seen videos of him. He's got a very cute family. Like I'm kind of jealous of him almost in a weird way, but he's got some weird views on stuff. Dr. Fauci could spend the day shooting unvaccinated people on Fifth Avenue, and most of the media wouldn't utter a peep. They're all in on him. He's like Mueller. He's like Mueller before failing. Off limits from criticism. I mean, now we just need to see some proof, buddy. I mean, Glenn Greenwald's supposed to be this like or he was at one point like this is what a real investigative journalist looks like with the Snowden crap. Snowden going under that blanket. This is what I heard about Snowden, okay? When he would go under, he's like, there was a thing about Snowden in the Oliver Stone movie where he would go put his password in under the blanket, so you couldn't see how his hands were moving. This is a real thing in that movie. He puts a blanket over him to put his password in his laptop, right? What I heard is that he goes under there. he goes under there. You hear this noise. Okay, guys, I'm just telling you what I heard. And then Snowden says, "Oh, come over here. I'll show you my password." And you're like, "Wow, I would really like to get into Snowden's laptop and see all his information." But then he puts the blanket over you and you're like stuck smelling that, and that's I would say that's a jailable offense.
Wait, you don't understand. If you don't say bonjour to this guy, it's au revoir for me.
I totally forgot what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, he's really into this lab leak thing. I think he just likes it's almost like a brand. Like his brand is like, I'm the guy who goes against what the narrative is or whatever. But the info is not there, and it definitely feeds into a right-wing, red-baiting, anti-China, new Cold War crap. All this China developed a thing to... A much more exciting story. China developed a thing to unleash on themselves and the world. Also, there were Americans doing research there, but they unleashed it. Do you have any evidence for that? Not really, but come on. I'm going to get a lot of likes and tweets off of this. But there we go, just a look into the weird, wild stuff.
Party.
Sometimes we look at these stories and we kind of go down a rabbit hole, and the next thing we know...
You go in the middle of the woods.
Well, guys, don't forget to...
Take the towers down now.
Bye. Bye.
Hey, guys, you're only getting a fraction of the weekly shows. If you want a new motherfucking episode every day, subscribe on Patreon for as little as 2 bones. You get the patron-only Tuesday and Thursday shows, the Bookablega show where we look at important books, and the goddamn weekly behind-the-scenes show. And for only 25 bones, you could become a producer and get your name up here. Look at these people. These people make this show possible. If it wasn't for them, nothing. We don't have a show. We got nothing, and it's garbage. And we have to just leave. We have to just basically walk away. And we don't even really know where we're walking. That's the truly troubling part about all this. But please, become a patron today for as little as 2 bones, or 5 bones is another level, or 10, or you go the full 25 and you get up here. Big special thanks to these people. Love you guys so much.